Hypercalc, let's try number 27. All right, the domain, that's off of the factored form. There's no common factors here, so x cannot be -1 or 4. The x-intercepts, that's where you set the numerator equal to 0. You divide by 2 here, so x is 0. This x is first degree, so first degree means that this would be odd. Again, odd means it goes through. Goes through the x-axis. Y-intercept, that's where you set all the x's equal to 0. Either form is fine. Okay, so that's 0, which again is going to be the same point as above, which is 0, 0. VA comes from the denominator, assuming the numerator is non-zero, so that's going to be -1 and 4. So remember, VA comes when you set the denominator equal to 0. Okay, they're both in factored form, they're both first degree, which means that they're both odd. Being an odd VA means you're going to go in opposite directions. Okay, HA is off of the degree of the polynomial, so this is, the numerator is linear, it's degree 1. The denominator is quadratic, it's degree 2. So this is bottom heavy, the polynomial in the denominator is bigger, so as x goes to positive or negative infinity, it will collapse the fraction to 0, which is why HA will end up being 0, because this is bottom heavy. Alright, does it cross? You might be able to see that it does cross, but I'll just solve it for you anyway. Remember, how you figure out if it crosses is you figure out if it's possible for them to coexist. Okay, and this is possible, because when I multiply this by 0, I get 2x equals to 0, or x equals to 0. So this is the spot where it crosses. So it's not like it's going to cross everywhere, it's just going to cross here, and that's it, nowhere else, at x equals to 0. And I'll explain the reason of that, and it might just be too much information, but the reason of that is that the HA is on the x-axis. And we also have an x-intercept. So if you're on the x-axis and you have an x-intercept, you're going to cross it, okay? But if that doesn't make any sense, then, you know, just know that at this point we're going to cross. Okay, let's put up the information that we have. Okay, I've got an x-intercept at 0. And again, we said that this was odd. I have y-intercepts the same. I have a VA at -1 and at 4. Okay, so I have a VA at x equals to -1. That's odd. And I have a VA at 4. That's odd. And I have an HA at 0. So hopefully here now you can see they're both coexisting. The function is sitting on the HA, and it's only going to cross there. Okay, it doesn't cross everywhere, it just crosses at the values you solve for. Now, this scenario, I don't actually have enough information because I don't know if the graph comes from the bottom through, because this is odd, or it comes from the top through. And that will sometimes happen where this technique doesn't give you enough information. That's easy to fix, because then what you do, as in any other case, is you would just plot a point. So like if I just let x equal to 1 and I plug it into the function. Okay, I'm just plugging it into the original function here. Okay, so at 1, it says I need to be at negative 1/3. That's the point. So at 1, I need to be at negative 1/3. I need to be here. All right, and now I can see the entire picture. It's all going to work now. So since this is below and I know this is odd, since this guy's like below and I know this is odd, it has to go through. So it's going to have to go, it's up on this side over here. So I can see that it's going to come down. It's going to ride the VA. It's going to go through the x-intercept. It's going to touch this point. It's going to have to eventually ride this. It's not, don't come back up here, don't come back up. The HA, when I say ride the HA, I refer more to like the ends. On the ends, you have to make sure you're on the HA. In the middle, it's not going to be so tight in on the HA. All right, now this is odd. So if I'm south on the left, I'm going to be north on the right side. And then again, I don't cross the HA anywhere else, so it's just gonna ride it over here, and it's gonna keep riding at that height. All right, that's that piece. You have to have a piece for each slice. So if you have 2 VAs, you have 3 graphs, because when I cut the paper twice, that gives me a segment here, a segment in the middle, and a segment on the left. And so you always have one more graph than you have VAs. All right, so now this guy over here is odd, which means opposite. So on the right side, I'm going north, which means on the left side, I have to be going south. Okay, and then I'm going to ride the VAs. Okay, so that is the final graph. So please remember that sometimes the technique doesn't give you enough information, and in that case, you do want to plot some more points to get a sense of, is the graph up or is it down? Like, where is it sitting? Okay, gang, I hope that helped. I'm going to help you some more with this homework. I'll catch you. Bye-bye.